know where he lives? Katie. I didn't notice until I was printing up all the labels last night. Cimarron Road, Cimarron Parkway, Katy, Texas. Like, oh my god! Seems like every time I pop the box so far. Yeah, no, if you buy one, we'll get it. Problem I had last night at going live. I used my phone on that group page. Probably got sold. I think it was Facebook. Facebook and Facebook. Could go live. Also, take down. Live. I can see it in the monitor. I can see you fine. But everything I can't see it. I can't see it. And I would just stop. And I could see him type between, but I couldn't see anybody else type. So I have my computer up too to see them guys type with me instead of on my phone. I'm Miller. Since I'm on a Sunday with Bunker. What are you doing? I should watch the football. Thank you. Football. With no life. Let's go.
Hockey is better.
You know, should I have my computer up so I can see them talking to me since I couldn't see it on my... Because I couldn't see it on the chat. When the moderator was talking to me, I could see it on my phone. Nobody else is chatting up to me at all. Yeah, football. Thank you.
There's Aaron.
Yeah, really. I'm not going to say anything, but if you don't like football, you're in the wrong place. I can do football.
Oh yeah, it's a counter. They're counter. Alright. What's up, everybody? We are back. Got week 1 football.
The night before.
We are finally in the actual season. Preseason's over, which, if you can count that as preseason.
It wasn't any preseason. No preseason.
If you can count that, which has made fantasy a little difficult. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron loves the intro. I appreciate that. Who's all on? I see we have a hockey fan, Christo, on. What part of Canada are you from, Christo? Aaron's on. Beans is on. Zach Edwards is on. Aaron Krause, I think we said. Logan. Logan's playing Avengers while watching. Logan, I just picked up Avengers and started playing yesterday.
Clarissa's on.
Clarissa! How are we doing? Also known as Hey You Won. who's actually in one of our leagues and has a stacked team for a rookie.
I think she got my butt.
I think she had help. I'm thinking
help, or she's just.
I think someone helped her draft, or we're that good at teaching.
Yeah.
I'm personally leaning towards taking the credit.
Okay. I think she's pulling a wool over her eyes.
There's Hey You Too, Brittany. Beans is my cousin from Michigan. Nice. Well, welcome everybody. This is our second.
In Arizona, not Canada.
In Arizona, and a hockey fan. They don't even have ice in Arizona. Welcome, second episode.
Yes. We made it twice. We made it to 2.
We made it to 2. This is a record.
Phoenix Coyotes. Yes,
so,
team.
We're going to answer some questions, do a couple giveaways, talk about week 1. I think, does anybody have any drafts left? I'm all out of drafts.
Yeah, I'm done.
I got offered one more and turned it down.
That's surprising. I'm amazed you turned the draft down.
I know. I think I was like, okay, I already got 5. So how do you feel your drafts went?
Pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with all my teams.
See, I'm always, I think I'm like the normal thing. I'm always going back at my team going, but I think that's common, right?
Absolutely.
Like Clarissa's over here going, I don't know about this.
And we're all excited for her team because we think she's going to take first place.
I know. Hey, yes, your Love Avengers.
Brittany has every wide receiver that I want. She thinks her team's horrible, and I think she's got a good team.
I know. She could win it all. I went outside my norm this year.
I was going to call you out on that.
I did.
I was going to call you out.
I'm going to be honest.
So step forward now.
I went out my norm, so I ended up with, I hate having, especially this year, late round draft picks. Like for one league, I had the 9th pick. All the rough position. All the good running backs that you really wanted were gone. I took Mixon. Came back around. I got Redskins running back, not Redskins, the Vikings. No, Raiders running back. Jacobs from Alabama. And then the third round, I like to go running back. And the third round came. There was no running backs there.
Oh, there was.
Not that I wanted.
You just caved.
Not that I liked. And I took Patrick Mahomes in one, and I took Lamar Jackson. And in the third, I was like, all right, I'll go for it in the third. Not doing it in the first.
See all those points sitting there.
And usually I like to wait till like the 10th. And even my other leagues, I was taking Dak in like the 6th. In them, I think I even took him in a 5th in one of them. So a little bit out of norm, but there's so many wide receivers this year that I didn't like the running backs.
There's a ton of receivers.
I wasn't going to pay that high of a pick for Mark Andrews. The tight ends were gone.
Right.
If there would have been a Kittle left, if there would have been a Kelsey left, I would have taken them instead. They were gone.
So I see Kelsey does have an injury.
Kelsey does
play, but
they already
have an injury.
It's always scary to injure at the beginning of the year.
Right.
Because that can linger throughout the year.
They said he had an injury 3 years ago, I believe it was, the same leg, but he hasn't missed one game since.
I saw the same thing.
He is an Iron Man. Clarissa said, I'm thinking I picked the worst players ever. You probably have the best team. Did you look at your report card, Clarissa? What was your grade? I'm curious. What was your grade from Yahoo?
I always get a bad grade on Yahoo.
I do too. I get
still do good.
C plus like every time, no matter what.
In fact, I was joking with one of my other leagues was joking with. They're like, didn't Joe get like an F- last year and then win the Super Bowl?
That's how it always is.
I was like, by lower the grade, I think the better I do.
There's so many waves and trades made here. It doesn't matter at the beginning.
No, that's what you got to keep in mind. You do not win your draft. You don't win the Super Bowl in the draft. It's a good basis, good start.
Aaron got a D, so that means you'll probably finish in the top 2 or 3.
Falcons going all the way. We have 11 former first-round draft picks on offense. They're going to have a good offense.
You have Barkley, Mixon, I guess David Johnson, and Leonard Fournette are the 4 running backs that got my draft.
I like Barkley, Mixon, and David Johnson. You're a little bit higher, I think, on Fournette than I am.
Yep. I see you made a comment today. I'm sure that hers other quarterback said, I finally have a real quarterback. I'm sure Foles and
he has Tom Brady.
Uncle Rico loved hearing that.
He finally does have a real quarterback. He wasn't lying.
No. I mean, Foles has a Super Bowl. So
he does have Super Bowl.
Cliff, you should have got an email probably like an hour after our draft.
Or go to the app, go to the league, then hit the draft button, and then you'll see a view draft grade. So we'll see. You never really know.
Good night, Christo. Nice talking to you.
Good night, Christo.
Good night.
So let's talk about a little bit about waiver wires. There's always some people week 1 that go off, and everybody's chasing. Everybody starts chasing. That are sitting out there right now. So I went back. I think you went back, and I went and looked at players that were owned around 50% or less in Yahoo leagues, and picked out some players that I think a lot of people will. That's some good potentials that if you all of a sudden had an injury, that now you have an empty spot, or just really for some reason
Colleen.
didn't like a player. Colleen, how you doing? If you have that open spot still on there, that you might want to consider picking up before everybody's chasing. My number one that I really like, that I'm amazed that more people haven't picked, is Deshaun Jackson.
Mm-hmm. He's available in every one of my leagues I looked at today that I'm in. He's available.
He's at 50% or 51% of Yahoo leagues. He's only owned. Deshaun Jackson, granted now, he's older. I see the risk there. He was hurt last year, which is another risk. But week 1, it was like 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's playing with the team where he was always a great player. He has chemistry with Carson Wentz. Back home. And everybody else is hurt.
Yeah.
Other than the tight ends.
Even the rookies hurt.
Everybody. Jeffrey's out. The rookie's out. He is the best guy that they got. And he's still, I think he's 31 years old. And still like one of the fastest guys in the NFL.
Yeah, he's fast.
I mean, he just raced a couple people and beat them all. Still at his age. So I'm thinking Deshaun Jackson's going to be, if you can get him on your bench now, if you have room. I'm not saying go drop a Godwin or something for Deshaun Jackson by any means, but I see him being a hot waiver wire pickup.
He'll score a lot of points. First, got to be probably got the highest grade in our draft.
Probably did.
Yeah, I think you got the best team. So honestly, if I was grading you, I would have gave you an A for sure.
Did you see any other wide receivers that stood out?
One I think I mentioned last week that I think is gonna, even though his quarterback's iffy and he's surprising, the quarterback is available in 3 of my leagues. Stephon Diggs. I still think he's going to score a lot of points. He's available in a lot of my leagues, and his percentage is high.
That surprised me that he's actually available.
He's available in a lot of leagues, and Josh Allen is owned by 97%. It said in Yahoo leagues, and he's available in some of my leagues.
He's the number 1 target.
He is.
I mean,
I think
for
he's number 2, and he's not.
If he was available in my league, I think I could find someone to draft. I think I would probably take him before Deshaun Jackson.
I thought about picking him up, but I took a lot of rookies this year. I normally don't do, but I drafted a lot of rookies.
Running backs, I noticed 41% only owned in Yahoo leagues. Chris Thompson, running back for Jaguars. Mm-hmm. They're going to be a horrible team. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. They got to try to keep up with scores like the Texans. I think they're going to have a rough year, but still should put up some points. They're going to be behind on teams that they got to play twice, like Indy. They're going to pass the ball. The coach, it's his old coach from Washington. He's already been talking him up, especially if it's a PPR league.
Right.
If it's a PPR league, it's 1 point every time he catches the ball, where regular running back has to run 10 yards to get that same point. I think he's going to be a hot pickup next week, probably, because the first team I think they play is Indy.
Yeah.
Is Indy. So they're going to have to throw the ball. Did you see any running backs stood out?
A couple of the rookies. that I liked. Jonathan Taylor was for some reason available in a lot.
Really?
Yeah, shied away from him. Really shied away from him.
That's crazy.
And Leonard Fournette that we mentioned, a lot of people did not draft Leonard Fournette. I think it's probably because the leagues I was in earlier, people knew he was was not on the team. Leonard Fournette is still available. I think he's going to do very. And
Quarterbacks picked Kirk Cousins.
we're going to fan him.
I've never really been a fan either, but he has done good in fantasy. They have a high-powered offense.
Yeah.
They got a running back that is great at catching the ball, dangerous catching the ball. And even if he dumps the ball off to him with 1 yard, heck, a shovel pass that they do counts as a pass. Counts as a pass.
It does.
They got Thielen on there. They always do good with their tight ends. And I also picked him, though, because they're going against Green Bay. Everybody's sleeping on Green Bay. Green Bay's always a tough team. That could be a high-scoring game. So he's going to have some high points up there. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to play Kirk Cousins every week, but I think he's a good stream, and I think some people, if a quarterback gets hurt, you see that big game, they could be chasing him. He's a good streaming quarterback, depending on who he's playing.
Yeah, my quarterback that's always a good streamer for me is Phil.
Yes.
He may not win a lot of games, but he scores a lot of
He's
points.
available.
He's never drafted. He's always available.
I mean, people got to remember, fantasy football is not real football.
Yeah, you don't have to win. Your quarterback does not have to win to get you a little.
I mean, Tampa Bay's quarterback last year, Jameis Winston was like the number 3 quarterback.
30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. Got you a lot of points.
He wasn't good enough to stay a starter, but he was great for fantasy.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian said he had Zoto Beckham, A.J. Brown, Sterling Shepard, Boyd, Marvin Jones Jr. I love Marvin Jones Jr. Samuel.
He has
Curtis Samuel.
Harry
from New England.
New England. That's an interesting one there, because that could be a sleeper right there. Who's gonna end up being that number 1 receiver on the outside? Cam will throw out there.
Oh yeah.
So that's a one I wouldn't mind keeping if I have the bench space. It's putting on there and watching for a few weeks, seeing how that plays out.
I'm anxious to see New England if Cam Newton, Edelman won.
Yeah. I like the Tyler Boyd too. I'm higher on Tyler Boyd than I am actually AJ Green.
Yeah, AJ Green, a little gun shy.
And
not just because he has a rookie quarterback. It's his injury. So injury prone.
He is.
I hope he comes back strong.
Sterling Shepard too. I think he's going to be the main guy for the Giants, and there's some great reports coming out of New York about him. He's been just crushing their cornerbacks. Not that they're great, but still a good sign.
I saw a lot of things that Sterling Shepard is one of the best sleepers in the draft. And he'll surpass Darius Slayton and Shepard's the wide receiver in New York.
Logan has Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's always seems. Did he have a strong year? He has a strong year, then a bad year. Yeah. A strong year, then a bad year.
Even his bad years.
Yes, absolutely. He has too many weapons not to be a great fantasy quarterback. And tight ends, I actually from your team, Pittsburgh, Eric Ebron.
Yeah.
There's Eric Ebron runs a lot of passing routes in his past. I think they brought him in to run those passing routes. That's what he does.
Ben loves tight ends in the red.
Always has. He loves tight ends. They're gonna. I think they brought him in to help spread the field more because Juju on the outside, Connor can come out of the backfield. I don't think Eric Ebron had enough opportunities, because every time he did have an opportunity, he was scoring tons of touchdowns. Battery here. Nope. Not in time. So, I think he's an interesting waiver wire maybe. And if you had a spot, I never like to roster 2 tight ends. Depending if you didn't get a tight end till really late, sometimes I'll grab 2 tight ends really late to see which one. I think 2 of them are going to break out and see which one does, and then drop the other one.
My tight end would be Hawkinson from Detroit.
I have him on the team right now. I've been debating getting rid of him before, I've been debating.
He set a lot of records last year as a rookie with yardage and catches. Stafford's one of his favorite targets this year.
You know, he had that great first game. I heard. He didn't seem to do much after.
See, you look at his numbers. He set a lot of records for a rookie. I mean, it's a rookie tight end. But
yeah,
he's going to catch a lot
He
of
was
balls.
a beast in college. He has all the statures to be a beast in the NFL. They drafted him in the top 10, 7th pick or something, and they drafted him to use him. And he's known as a pass catcher, not a blocker.
Right.
So
watch out for him.
I have him on the team right now, just because I had two. Again, didn't know exactly. Got tight end late. Could be a sleeper.
The other one I like goes with Logan's two people. Is Hayden Hurst.
Yes,
he did well when he ever got the ball in Baltimore. He's Atlanta.
Atlanta loves to throw to the tight end.
Absolutely.
Loves to throw to the tight
Austin
end.
Hooper got a lot of balls there last year. So
Who is each of your favorite active players right now? Well, you know, that's actually one of the things we're going to talk about is who are we excited to see this week? Who's some of the top people you're excited to see?
I'm excited to see Gronk, just to see how he comes back and plays after being off for a couple of years, and just to see how he comes back in NFL form, being off and being supposedly wrestler for a while, what he's going to do and all that. Just anxious to see him play. And of course, my team, Big Ben, after his surgery, saying he's injury free for 14 weeks, whatever. Anxious to see him throw the ball. Supposedly best shape he's been in 14 years, so we'll see.
Well, that wouldn't be hard.
No.
Big Ben.
Ben
has never been injured. Ben has never been known as like in great shape.
That's true. That's why I like him.
He's like
man
old
after
school.
my own heart.
He's like old school football.
Absolutely. Eats a ham sandwich on the sideline.
Yeah, he's smoking a cigar on the sideline.
My type of guy.
A cup of whiskey. Like that's who
True
Big Ben
Pittsburgh.
reminds me of. I had a couple of them. Deshaun Jackson again. I'm kind of wait to see if he's going to be that guy. Because if he does, all of a sudden he goes from no one with 50% of people weren't drafting him to being he could be a top 20 receiver.
Like John Ross last year for the Bengals.
Absolutely.
Nobody had him, then he went haywire, and everybody wanted him.
Gibson, the running back for Washington.
Antonio Gibson.
I'm really excited to see what he does. There's a lot of people still trying to downplay it. I'm still on the hype train on it, especially since his coach. His coach, I think he wants a player like CMC. He was CMC's coach last year. He saw how well that worked, and he's been comparing him to CMC. And he acts just like him, except he's bigger. So I'm excited to see him. And because I normally will never take a rookie running back in the first round. I hate taking rookie running backs. I usually let everybody else chase them. I won't take usually a rookie running back till third round. And I got Clyde Edwards-Helaire on multiple teams this year.
I bragged about him last week. My prediction right now is he's going to be a top 5 scorer in fantasy and running backs.
He kept dropping down on that later, like 8th pick, 7th pick, where some of the Zeke's course was gone, Barkley was gone.
The easy picks, the no-brainers.
Yeah, they were gone. And like, do I really stretch for a Mixon or do I take the high upside? And just with history, with Chiefs and what they do with running backs,
he doesn't have to worry about being the major load at the
he
team.
only got one backup on him because one of the Williams decided to opt out this year. So I went ahead and took the game. I think I have him on like 3 of my leagues. So I'm excited to watch him, which is Thursday. Was it? It's Texans, Chiefs?
Yeah, so I said today is the day before.
Poor Texans. You got the Texans got the Chiefs week 1, the Baltimore week 2.
There's 0-2.
And then week 3, everybody will be injured by them knowing the Texans, so it doesn't matter who they play.
Absolutely. Brittany just wants to beat James so he can get that tattoo. Our league is a tattoo league since you made me. So.
No, I'm not doing
that.
I'm not.
We all signed agreement.
I am
right,
not.
Brittany, right, Clarissa?
I'm not doing another rainbow unicorn tattoo on my ass.
Make it number 2.
I'm not doing 2.
Double cheat.
Tia's already told me I couldn't have a second one. What about handcuffs? What do you feel about handcuffs? Should they pick up some handcuffs if they're out there?
Well, before you speak in handcuffs, let's explain to the girls what handcuffs are before we get kicked off here.
It's not the fuzzy handcuffs?
No, not the pink fuzzy handcuffs that we used to have when we were together. Handcuffs are insurance policies. Do you? She wants a new tattoo. Of course, you're not going to finish last.
Logan Handcuff Kinky NFL.
There you go. That's right. That's what we should name our talk show. Handcuffs are insurance policies. It's a backup for your number one running back, or any position really, but usually a running back. My number one handcuff or insurance policy would probably be, in my opinion, Latavius Murray. Backup. Yep.
I like it. He can be played in the flex even if Kamara wasn't out. Because, I mean, they still use him. He still catches the ball. And if Kamara goes out, he could be a top 10, if not top 5 running back. I usually will not take a handcuffs. I like to take the high upside, like on a Gibson that I think is going to be the starter. But if you had a Kamara, Kamara's already. Hey Eric, how you doing? The Kamara's already seemed to have some back issues, so it's not a bad idea already having this early to take a back. I also, if I take a handcuffs, a lot of times I like to take other people. Not necessarily.
I used to do that. We used to do it to each other a lot, or people in our leagues. Yes.
Because if their running back goes down, and I still have my starters, especially if it's a running back like Kamara, who's already has an injury, he is more likely to go out than say Zeke with no injury.
Right.
Right. So if I didn't have Kamara, I think I would go after that running back even more because of that.
Right.
If I have a bench spot, I think he's probably up there as right around my number one. But my other, I would say Hunt for the Browns.
Nick Chubb's back.
Nick Chubb's backup. If Chubb goes down, Hunt to me is easily top 5 running back. He's that talented. They just signed him for another 2 years. Yeah, good size contract. And I can still play him in the flex because they still use him enough even when Chubb's out there, especially as good as he is at catching the ball. Chubb doesn't catch the ball nearly as much.
Before he punted his girlfriend, Hunt was one of the best running backs in the league.
Absolutely. I had him on every one of my leagues that year, drafted him in.
Yeah,
and I crushed it that year.
Big kicker, too.
My other handcuffs, I thought about Madison for the Vikings.
Yeah, he'd be my number 2.
Behind Cook. Cook has some injuries, and he is still not. They haven't got a contract yet,
No, Cook does not have one.
He's saying he's not going to hold out, but that's another one. Madison's a good player.
They all say that, but as soon as Kamara gets his big contract, and then Cook's going to want to see the money.
Yeah, so it's there's a little bit higher risk to Cook there. In fact, I would normally have probably taken Cook over.
Yes, of course. So we all do trades.
Absolutely.
I'll take Mahomes, and I'll give you whoever I have as a quarterback.
Whoever it is.
Whatever it is. No, but yes, we do. I don't know if we have it made, so it has to be voted, but
yeah, I mean, and when you make a trade normally, I know in most of my leagues, the rest of the league gets the vote on it to say. Now, what I hate is the only reason you should veto a trade is if you think it's truly a collusion, it's unfair trade. You know, if all of a sudden you're trading me Zeke for Pollard.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
you
not
should never
realistic.
get rid of Mahomes either.
Yeah, someone's stacking a team. Other than that, I don't think you should ever veto.
Aaron, last week I said I'm worried about Hopkins because I'm not dead set on Kyler Murray. But after him signing that big contract, he better do well. He just signed a huge contract extension today, 2 years, $54 million.
They are not going to pay him that kind of money and not give him the ball.
Yeah, he is gonna.
They're going to
catch everything.
They're going to make him earn that money. They are going to pepper him.
Yeah, he better have a lot of stickum on those gloves.
And then I think I had one more handcuff. Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds for Arizona.
Yeah,
he's a good running back, and I'm not 100. I have Drake only on one team. I'm not 100% sold on Drake. He has a very small sample size. And I think if he started sloping, Edmonds could take that spot pretty.
Yep. Edmonds is no slouch. He's good too.
So I would those would be the handcuffs I see, and I'm going to only handcuff a running back.
Another weird thing this year I noticed, I was looking through, there's a lot of teams this year that running backs by There's several.
It's more and more and more and more coming, it seems like. Well, a 3-down back's hard to find. A guy that has that skill set, he can block. Because it's not just running and catching, but they also got to block. And so, especially for 3rd down, that's harder and harder to find. Driving that, I think they're trying to find more. And look at Gurley, he ran so much. He was a stud 3-down back, but it wore him out so quick also.
Any NFL dreams you guys have? Like things you want to happen? Yeah, Steelers get ring number 7 or anybody else. That's my dream.
Cowboys winning Super Bowl. Like I would trade on fantasy.
Playoff win.
I would trade all my, and I'm in money leagues. I would trade every one of it and come in last place if my Cowboys could win. John Smith, no worry. Better late than never. Better late than never. Defense streaming. So you and me have kind of the same theory when we draft. You draft a defense, very last pick.
Every year.
I draft.
Very last pick is defense.
Every one of my leagues this year, I drafted defense second to last. I choose a kicker last. You do kicker second to last, defense last.
Yep.
So our defenses and kickers probably suck that we got because everybody else picked. But it doesn't matter.
They're on a rotation.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up a new.
They're never on my team long.
No, I'm usually gonna pick up a new defense every week, depending on who they play. But before we talk about the defenses for this week, I wanted to get your opinion on. I saw a lot of people pick early to New England's defense. It is owned by I think with 98%.
There's several teams that
are
owned.
What do you think Patriots defense this year? They had a stellar year. They were winning people.
They did. We always talk about their division. They play upfield twice that are absolutely horrible.
They were scoring like a quarterback last year.
Yeah. And Hightower sitting out. So there's one thing. People probably don't even think about that.
Hightower sitting out. I think they had a couple other players up sitting out too.
And the big thing about their defense on the other side of the ball was the best manager of offense in history of all time. And I'm not a big Tom Brady fan, but it's going to be different this year with Cam Newton.
Yes.
Their defense is going to be on the field, I think, a lot.
Absolutely.
They're going to have offenses coming at them 80% of the time instead of offenses coming at them 30% of the time.
I don't think a lot of people understand how an offense is so important to your defense.
Absolutely.
How killing the clock. And nobody was better at that than Tom Brady. Slowly driving down the field, killing times, having 8-minute drives at sometimes. That the defense,
that's a good defense,
was
John.
sitting out, getting rest, not have to worry, and they don't have that anymore. They don't have Tom Brady. A bunch of the people sat out, but they're not the same defense.
No, of course, your defense is horrible. Just because Joe likes Dallas is the only reason.
Our defense is normally horrible. I've heard good things out of camp, but that could be just camp talk.
John Smith, your name is about as fictitious as mine.
Dave Smith.
Dave Smith.
So I have not. In fact, I wouldn't play. They're playing Miami, which you would think is a good matchup, right? I wouldn't play him this week.
Fitzpatrick is always garbage point, man. He's going to throw 5 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
They call him Fitzmagic for a reason.
Absolutely.
The guy somehow sucks one day, and then the next week, I think the second to last game, week 17 last year, he threw 450 yards, 1 interception, and 4 touchdowns.
Or that's probably the exact opposite.
Exactly. And the week before that, the exact opposite of that. Like, you don't know which Fitzmagic is coming out. And it being a new team, not having Tom Brady managing that clock, I ain't playing their defense.
Brian, I had the Colts D in 4 of my 5 leagues, I believe. They're one I don't really want to give up a lot because I think they're going to score a lot. They're going to do well in their division, the Colts. Because they played Texans, they played Jacksonville. So Tennessee might be rough, but I think Colts defense is going to be.
Well, and they run the ball. They run the ball and kill the clock, which helps the defense. Some of the streaming defenses I saw this week: Tennessee versus Denver. Tennessee Tennessee controls the clock. They're a run first team.
Derrick Henry.
So less chances for Denver to get on the field and score. Detroit versus Chicago. Detroit doesn't have a great defense, but Chicago is starting Trubisky. Even though they're paying Foles some insane amount of money, Trubisky still won. And he's good for at least one pick, if not a couple picks. So, I mean, I don't care whose defense is playing against the Bears. I'm playing them. And Indy versus Jags, because they have a good defense, and the Jags they don't have a great team.
Yeah, Minshew, I don't know, still up near.
It's fun to watch, but
he is.
I don't see them.
And they have no running game, so.
I think Tom Brady's going to have a great year, Logan. I think he's a top 5 quarterback this year for fantasy.
Yeah.
I don't now.
Got a lot of weapons.
Again, fantasy's different than real football. He could be a top 5 fantasy quarterback and still finish 8-8.
Yeah.
So I'm saying for fantasy wise, he's going to be a great quarterback. But I actually do not see them winning the division.
I agree, John. Nick Foles should start in Chicago, but they gave it to Ski.
Yeah. So I'm fire up Detroit's defense.
Yeah.
No. Did you see any other stood out to you flex wise for the defense or streaming wise for the?
There's so many defenses I saw taken early. Baltimore's defense, Pittsburgh's defense. They've taken them so early, and to me, that's just Minnesota's defense on there. But happened.
I have Minnesota, but I got them at the last pick.
Yeah.
I like Minnesota's defense this year, and in fact, I'm tempted to play them the first week, but I'm scared to because they play Green Bay.
Aaron Rodgers. I know. You don't ever want to go against Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. It's
kind of the rule. Like if your defense is playing Baltimore, Kansas City, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees,
yep.
You drop them and you pick up a different defense.
Exactly.
And you look for ones that are playing Trubisky. You look for them to playing some of those bad teams. Every Jets. Someone playing the Jets.
Sam Darnold.
That's defensive for me. What about kickers? Which is almost so hard to pick.
Yeah, that's a game. It's same here. They talked about that last week, John. I always take a dome kicker. That's my first thing I always go for is a dome kicker. I usually go for somebody in NFC North because they play 2 of the road games in the dome too. So
I switch my kicker out every week. I'll look for a dome that week for sure, but I'll also look for some high-scoring games. For instance, Atlanta's kicker coup. They're playing Seattle. Both of those teams can score a lot of points.
Yep.
So they're going to be driving down the field. More opportunities for the kicker. So I'd like him for this week. And Tampa Bay kicker Scoop is playing Saints. That could be a shootout.
Yeah.
So both of those kickers have an opportunity, a whole lot of opportunities.
I saw Lutz going first, like real early.
Yeah,
ridiculous early.
Lutz is, but
he's a nice scoring kicker, of course, for the Saints. But I would take him over.
Ryan for Tampa is only owned by 16%.
Yep.
So there's a lot of opportunities for him to kick some points there.
Yeah, the Saints I think they're gonna have a good chance to take in the Super Bowl this year. Except for the last couple of years. Minnesota really crushed them a couple of years ago. Crushed my heart.
So if now a lot of times, and I didn't do it at all this year, but a lot of times I don't take a quarterback till the last pick, and I'll change my quarterbacks every year. And then there's also Superflex leagues, which I'm not in any Superflex. Yeah. But for you guys who don't know what a Superflex is, you can play an actual quarterback in the flex position, or 2 quarterback leagues. All of a sudden you're picking some later people, and a lot of times you're streaming some of those. I really like for streaming wise. I agree. Phillip Rivers and Tyrod Taylor for streaming wise.
Yep.
Both of those guys can put up some points. Tyrod also runs,
he does.
Which is a little bit, gives him a little bit higher floor, just for that reason. Not if the refs have anything to say about it.
They'll come back and get him again.
So take a little moment moment, I wanted to take a little moment, not to show off, but to kind of listen to some of this stuff, because we do get stuff right every now and then.
Yeah, blind squirrel does find a nut
Every once in a while, like me and Smitty been doing this a long time, and last week you called it. Jags had released Fournette. Everybody asked,
Yeah, you asked where you think
where is he going to go? And you called it spot on. Went to Tampa.
Yep. So if anybody, Tom Brady's gonna use his clout and
Yeah.
his GM to pick Fournette up, and sure enough,
And sure enough, it happened. And then I was talking up Gibson for running back for Washington last week, and they released Adrian Peterson this week.
Detroit.
So just bumping him up even higher, and I bring that up going, you don't let go of Adrian Peterson, who did a good job for you.
Absolutely.
If you don't believe in Gibson.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just showing the coach is thinking what I'm thinking. He's going to be a baller.
Yep.
He's going to be a baller.
John's in an IDP Superflex. He has Rodgers and Cam, backup of Cousins. So you have 3 quarterbacks in your roster. That's crazy.
Oh, gee. Yeah, but Superflex. So he can play too. Was it not bad? Rodgers. A lot of people are down on Rodgers, but you just can't count him out. Can run, so he's going to be have that floor. And Cousins, like I said, he's done well for me in the past. I had a year where I had Cousins almost at every
Who's their
team.
number 2 now in Minnesota behind? Is it just a rookie? Justin Jefferson?
I think he's going to be their number. It looks like it.
I can't think of who else they have.
And then I like to play a little bit of DFS. You ever DFS? I play on DraftKings and a couple of, if you guys, DFS is like DraftKings, you pick, they give you a budget of so much money and you spend that money on certain players.
DraftKings, I've never done it in a fantasy with other people.
Well, and that's what I'm talking about for DraftKings. I wanted to put a shout out if you guys do DraftKings. A couple things
I live on DraftKings, but not with blind people.
I've noticed this week, if you're going to enter any of the tournaments, there's some high, I think, there's some steals out there. Cheap bargains that could be really big to allow you to get some of those higher players out there. Gibson's dirt cheap. And people, just because he's going to be dirt,
played yet,
he hasn't played yet. He's a rookie. He's unproven, but it looks like week 1's going to have a huge role. And they're playing the Eagles, who can put up points, so they're going to have to throw the ball. So, and he's the catching back too. He's going dirt cheap, so you can take him and then go get a high end running back
Balance out your...
because he's so cheap. Deshaun Jackson, dirt cheap. He's the only receiver they really have.
Yep.
Whiteside's not going to do anything.
Henry Ruggs is not very expensive, I don't think.
And Henry Ruggs was one of my other ones. They got 2 rookies out there. I like Henry Ruggs myself on there. And then quarterback wise, Brady's actually cheap. So you can put a Deshaun Jackson cheap. Go pick up Mike Evans with Brady because you spent so little on Deshaun Jackson, and then stack Tom Brady with Evans
Or Godwin.
or Godwin. Absolutely, I love Godwin. So I think there's some opportunities that you wouldn't normally get because week 3, week 4, you already know who kind of the stars are. They already cost more money.
Go up instantly.
Yeah, absolutely. But right now, those people haven't been a star yet. So I think there's some good. Usually you're betting on which star is going to be the highest. Now you can go this is going to be a star with the actual star.
Is anybody out there on DraftKings other than Joe and I? Got a couple. Yeah.
That's a nice guy. Godwin might be a nice week 1. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Like I said, and they're playing again. They're playing Saints, so they got to throw the ball. The Saints are going to
catch up. I got a strong feeling.
The Saints are going to throw all over the Buccaneers.
Yep.
All over. They got to throw the ball. So I really like there's an opportunity. I always make more money in DraftKings this week. the rest of the year.
When I started up, we were at the old building. I started with $20 years ago. Never added to it, and I still have
Same way. I did it at the same time as you, and I'm still playing on the same money.
Yep.
Now I'm always too chicken to play like any super expensive ones, and so I'll play like $3 leagues that'll $6 or $10. But I'm still I've never taken money out.
Yep.
And I've never put any more money in.
I haven't even. It's 10 years.
There's not that much to talk about because week one actually hasn't played out. So, anybody have any questions? Any questions on who should you play in your flex versus this person versus that person? And then we have a couple giveaways. We have a Mahomes to give away, and we're going to go ahead and give away an Amari Cooper. Since it's week one, we're in the Cowboys. We're going to give away an Amari Cooper to someone who's on the chat. But we can start with if
anybody out there, nobody's commented on anything in a while.
Let's go ahead and do the week one winner.
Mahomes, there, somebody. Logan's alive.
Week one winner for the Mahomes. And if the winner isn't on, that's okay. We're just going to tag them anyways. Chris Sullivan. Chris Sullivan is the winner of the Patrick Mahomes, which we will tag you in so you can send us your address. Congratulations, Chris Sullivan. And we need a question. First person who answers the question will take Amari Cooper. Come up with the question this week.
Yeah. Who was both of our number one handcuff for running backs?
Good question. Who was both agreed was our number one handcuff?
Brian Ankle. Hey, we were close. Chris Sullivan, Brian, they sound alike.
Oh, you know
like
I'm horrible
finance
with
manager
names.
Hoover. Brian Ankle.
I'm horrible with names, so it could have been right.
Yeah. Spelled the same. Who was our number one handcuff for running backs?
Whoever answers the question gets the Amari Cooper. Aaron Krause.
Yep.
Murray. Congratulations, Aaron Krause.
Davius Murray.
Murray is correct. Aaron, send me your address. Aaron actually I know lives in Katy though, or in Houston area. Send me your address and let me know if you want me to ship it. If you just want to pick it up, just let me know. Send it.
I can deliver it too.
But congratulations, Aaron. That is the correct answer. All right. I expect that next week will be we'll have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
It'll be first week. We'll have some injuries, I'm sure. We'll have some waiver wires. Get to talk about overreaction because I'm sure a lot of people are going to. Oh, hey Mo, how you doing? A lot of people are going to overreact to what happened. There's going to be some people who drop some good people.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be people who pick up some bad people just from overreacting.
Oh yeah, everybody will jump on that waiver wire.
So we'll have a good amount. Just be exciting to have a week.
Holy, can't believe football's actually here. Week one is here.
Yes,
I'm actually surprised that it's actually going to happen. Everything's going on.
My better half doesn't stream trivia on Thursday. I'm gonna have to watch you on my phone because football.
Start Hollywood Brown week one.
Football.
It's hard not to start him.
Well, the question is, John, who is your other receivers, and is it a 2-man plus flex? Because I would be tempted to start Hollywood Brown, depending on what the league is. Is it a PPR league or a regular league? And who are my other receivers? But I'm not going to be as scared of Hollywood Brown.
No.
Not I mean, I have him on several of my teams.
I hope the Falcons do good because I have a lot of the players. I have Ridley, I have Gurley, and several. I think Gurley's
Johnson, he has Julio, Woods, Moore, and my backups are Cook and Brown.
Well, Cooks, I'm really scared of. He has a some kind of injury, deep tissue issue. So
yeah, he
scares me already for week 1.
If you're talking about in the flex, depending on if you have a good
Julio and Moore,
who's your
for sure.
third string running back? Wide receivers start 3 wide receivers regular scoring.
Okay.
So Julio, Woods, and I'm taking Brown. I'm taking Brown over Moore.
DJ Moore?
Yeah. Take DJ Moore over him?
Yeah.
What about in your flex? Can you put Brown in your flex? Or do you have a third running back that you like to put it in your flex? They're playing again. So, but
Boy,
Cleveland can put up some points.
Yeah, that's rough.
Cleveland, I think, is going to be a better team than a lot of people are thinking.
Is it going to be Ingram and are running the whole game, or?
Cleveland.
That's tough.
I mean, it's going to be Moore or Brown. He's leaning more. I like the upside of Brown. I'm excited. That's another person to put on my list to see, because he didn't get to play a ton last year. When he was on the field, he was phenomenal to watch. But he was hurt the whole time and still did that.
Superflex, the quarterbacks usually score higher.
It's super flex, so yeah, you're going to put a quarterback in your flex, sure. So it's going to be Moore or Brown. I would Moore is your higher draft pick. I'm not sold on Moore. It's a rookie, or not a rookie, but a new quarterback for him.
Career.
No, do they have the chemistry?
2 quarterbacks, 3 receivers, 3 running backs.
Yeah. I think I would take the upside of Brown, Hollywood Brown. He has rapport with Lamar Jackson. Moore doesn't have any rapport with his. Carolina, the ball runs through CMC. Carolina playing.
I don't know. That's a tough call.
That's a tough call. I'm leaning Hollywood. He'll lean the other way. That way, one of us is right.
Just shy away from Cooks.
Yeah, do not play Cooks.
Week 1.
Do not
shy
play
away from
Cooks. No, Cooks is not having it. There is no way. He could. There's no way he can get 50 points because he'll be re-injured before he could ever.
It's true.
Get there. I didn't take Cooks any league. He did.
Any more leagues?
No, none of my.
Sorry, John. Good pick. Hat looks good on you, though.
Great pick. So, see if you can trade him before he gets hurt. I mean, the best.
Will Fuller will go down here quick.
The best thing that you
He'll be
could
the
have.
number 1 here in 2 weeks. Fuller Bricks is.
Let me tell you, if I had Cooks and he had a stellar game, you know what I'm going to do? Trade him. As fast as I can. Look, he's an all-star, and I'm going to trade him quick and get him off my team because he's going to be hurt next week. Kyle, you missed it, but hey, it'll go. It will be on the page, so you can go back and re-watch it. But you did miss it. 8:30 Central every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, 8:30 Central. That way, we're in time for any questions before your waiver wires go through. Can we start a group chat on Messenger to get tips and tricks, info from you guys?
Absolutely. And I told you, too, you can always message me if there's any questions or...
That or put it in, we have the fantasy football community. So if you have any questions, too, drop it in that community. And I will make sure, and I'm sure Smitty will make sure, that we will answer those questions.
Absolutely.
There. That's one reason we built that community. So you guys, if you had any questions, we're debating. Sometimes we get them right, sometimes we get them wrong. But I think, it's all about percentages, and our percentages are high.
Yeah.
Higher than a lot.
You've been lucky.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Absolutely.
Right? We can be lucky for you, too.
That's a good question, Chris. Yeah, put it on there. Put it in the chat, and glad to answer you.
I'd like it on the community too because there's other people that are in the community that aren't part of one of our leagues.
That's what I need to put in there.
Yeah, and so they can see those. They can see those questions because they might have the same questions as well.
Great to see other people's input too.
Absolutely, because they could bring up something. A lot of times I'll bounce off stuff off you and vice versa because sometimes we're thinking about something that the other one's not thinking.
Yep. So before we sign off, who's everybody's surprise pick for the Super Bowl? Anybody have a surprise pick other than your favorite team? Like I'm sure Logan's going to go with the Falcons, and I'm going with Steelers, and Joe's going with Dallas.
I'm going with them because they're team,
Right.
and America's team.
Anyone have a surprise pick or sleeper pick for the Super Bowl?
There's always, it seems like a one side. A lot of times can be that surprise. Like before, no one guessed the Ravens.
Yeah.
Who are you thinking?
I said last week. Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Chiefs going. Texans.
No way.
Is that a joke? You're trying
No way.
Bengals are my
Bengals.
sleeper.
You know what?
I hope
like
Joe Burrow does well. Man,
I like the
love
Bengals pick a lot better than the Texans pick. Joe Burrow could be. Now he's only had one good year in college.
Good one.
Like
I said last week,
they got the weapons.
that team was amazing, and the Bengals have weapons.
They got weapons. They got a great running back. I like their receivers. I like their tight ends. I love Clarissa. She said the Cowboys. Clarissa wins.
I'll drink. I'll have the same drink that Chris is having. Yes, Bolts. I think you're gonna be really good.
Yeah, Cole.
Their defense is tough. Phil Rivers finally has some good. He has a good line finally. Good receivers around him and good backs.
I could see it's going to be them or Tennessee that wins that division.
Kiss ass. Thank you for saying what I was thinking. Thank you, Eric.
I don't know what you mean by that, Eric. Kiss ass. She's
If
just
she wins the
just
pop
because
next week,
she's
I don't know
smart.
why.
Just because she's smart and picked the Cowboys to win it all. I mean, that just means she's intelligent.
How did she get first pick last week? She always set that up. She got first pick.
Did she have the number one pick?
Yeah.
Well, smart. See, she actually loves the Cowboys. I like Hey You Won more and more. All right, guys. Well, I think that's all we got for tonight.
I think so.
I'm excited to talk next week after getting to actually watch some football. Since preseason, we haven't got to watch anything.
Yes.
So, super excited about that. I probably won't sleep for the rest of the week.
That's my Christmas Eve. Always is my favorite season of the year.
Absolutely. I'm already wearing my jersey. I probably won't take it off. I'll probably still have it on. I apologize now. It's some idiot time because I'm stink next Tuesday, but that's how excited I am.
Can't wait.
All right, guys. We will see you again 8:30 Tuesday.
Don't forget to look over your rosters. Make sure everything's filled in.
Yep. Make sure you
Nobody's
got no last
questionable. Nobody hurt.
second injuries. All right, guys. Y'all have a great night.